All right, so this is a video over blood clotting. So three main steps of blood clotting. We have vasospasm, we have platelet aggregation, and we have the clotting cascades. So to talk about that, we need to know about how blood flows to some degree, and we need to know about the blood vessel layers. So look at the layers first. So all blood vessels have a tunica adventitia, which is the outer connective tissue layer, the tunica media, which is the middle layer, which is made of smooth muscle, which helps with vasoconstriction and vasodilation. The tunica intima now has two layers that are really important. One is the endothelium, which is actually lining the lumen. So this area in here where the blood is flowing is referred to as the lumen of the vessel. And then the tissue layer just between the endothelium and the tunica media is the basement membrane, or sometimes we just call it the subendothelial collagen. Now that's important because when there's exposure of the blood to the subendothelial collagen, there's different tissue factors in there and proteins that are going to start the blood clotting process. So that's how that works. Okay, so again, some blood vessels are just a single layer of endothelium, the capillaries. Other blood vessels have all three layers, but varying amounts of smooth muscle. Some are more muscular, some have more elastic fibers. That's all stuff we can talk about later. So first thing we'll talk about is how blood flows in the vessel. So we'll talk about how blood flows in the vessel. So normal blood flow is actually laminar. It's the fancy word. Laminar just means layers. So it actually flows like layers. And guess where blood's flowing the fastest? So blood's going to be flowing the fastest in the middle, in the center, right? And as you move closer to the endothelium, blood's moving a little bit slower. And that's because of drag and friction and the red blood cells bouncing around and kind of dragging along the endothelium. Now, the endothelium is really important because it prevents abnormal blood clotting. So provides this really smooth surface. It produces things like nitric oxide and prostacyclin, which actually prevent blood clotting and promote vasodilation. They're good for your blood vessels. So we like this nice laminar flow or layered flow. We need our endothelium to not just be intact, but to be functional. So endothelial dysfunction or damage to endothelium, you're asking for trouble with the promotion of atherosclerosis or abnormal blood clotting and forming an arterial or venous thrombosis. That's laminar flow. So the opposition to laminar flow is actually turbulent flow. So if blood is going around like a sharp bend or something, there is blood turbulence. That's normal. It's physiological in certain blood vessels based on the anatomy. But things like developing a plaque in the artery, where there's a speed bump to go over, anything like that, that's going to create turbulent flow. And turbulent flow, let's say there was a plaque here, well then this would be kind of bumping over a plaque if we had a plaque in this area, okay? And that'd be turbulent blood flow. So turbulent blood flow in the arteries can be caused by high pressures, like when there's hypertension